Hi, Remnant Roomies. I got a message earlier today, and I thought about the spirit of pride. Now, what made me want to put out this message is actually from real life experience. I recently had a conversation with someone, and in their attempt to brag, they almost missed out on an opportunity. And as I was preparing to put this message out, I kept thinking about the spirit of Leviathan in particular in the Bible. And the reason why I felt compelled to revisit scriptures about the spirit of Leviathan is because it gives us spiritual insight as far as how the spirit of pride plays out if we do not get it in check. So the first scripture that I want to read from is in the book of Isaiah. Or actually, no, I'm going to start off with the book of Job. It's going to be Job 41. And Job 41:34 states that it looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud. And this is referring to the spirit of Leviathan. I also want to read the scripture Isaiah 41:15 through 17. Or excuse me, Job 41:15 through 17. And it states, its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Have you all ever been in a conversation with someone and it's almost like no matter how much you communicated to them, no matter how much you communicated your side, no matter how much you presented to them truth, you couldn't get through to them? It's because this person is battling with the spirit of Leviathan, of pride. And even as the Lord is depicting and giving a description of what Leviathan looks like, his presentation, or its presentation rather, it states, its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together, meaning that nothing can pass through it. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between. Exactly. That nothing can get through to them. And you know what's so scary is someone who's operating with the spirit of Leviathan or the spirit of pride, even the truth can't get through to them because their pride is blocking it. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. In another scripture that I was led to a couple weeks ago, all I got was the message, how some people's consciences are seared from the truth, seared from reality, seared from the idea of facing some kind of judgment. And in the scripture, I believe it's Romans 1:28, it talks about how when people get so consumed with pride and operating in the spirit of pride, God will actually give them up to a reprobate mind. That's why when people present them with the truth, it doesn't resonate with them. It doesn't get through to them. And as I was doing, Bible study to prepare to put this word out, I was also led to the scripture John 8:44. In that scripture, and I'm going to paraphrase it, it broke down how when people's father, right, their spiritual father isn't the Lord, they will operate with a lying spirit. And I'm not just talking about, or rather, the revelation that I got just now, and now that I'm speaking in this video, the concept of lying isn't just about people verbally spewing lies out, but it's the fact that they're not living in truth. So because they're not living in truth, they're constantly walking in darkness. And as long as they're walking in darkness, they won't have light. And pride will stop you from seeing the light and walking in the light. Pride will shield you from walking into the truth. Pride will stop you from stepping out of darkness and coming into the light. Another scripture that I want to visit was in the book of Israel. And that's why I kept, mixing up the two. My apologies, because I was studying both the book of Job and then the book of Isaiah. But the next scripture that I want to read from is Isaiah 27, 1-2. And it says, in that day, the Lord will punish with his sword, his fierce, great, and powerful sword. Leviathan, the gliding serpent, Leviathan, the coiling serpent, he will slay the monster of the sea. In that day, sing about a fruitful vineyard. Now, what's so interesting is when I thought about the spirit of Leviathan earlier, the word that kept coming to me was coil. Because as I was thinking about Leviathan and the spirit of pride, I kept thinking about twisting, and the word that came to me was coil. And lo and behold, when I was looking up certain scriptures to help me prepare for this message, I was led to Isaiah, and then the scripture popped up, and then coil was there. And I felt compelled to look up the definition of coil, and a synonym for coil is twist. So when people are battling with the spirit of Leviathan and pride, they will twist the truth. The spirit of pride will cause them to twist the truth that is being presented to them. So someone can be communicating to them one thing and can have intentions, good intentions, but because the spirit of pride is twisting that person's intentions, they're going to perceive it as if that person is bad. So when a person is operating in a spirit of pride, they will compete with people who God has called them to be in communion with. They will sabotage people who God has actually appointed to be an intercessor for them. The spirit of pride will cause them to slander somebody who God has sent to cover them, to pray for them, to counsel them, but their pride is blocking them from seeing that opportunity. Their pride is blocking them from connecting with people who God has sent to be a blessing to them. So if you encounter someone and you realize that their pride is getting in the way, pray for them. But you also have to know how to set boundaries, okay? Once you've let it be known that you're there to help them and they keep going out of their way to sabotage you or to compete with you, it is completely fine for you to separate yourself and shake the dust off of your feet. That's something that they have to sort out. If someone is battling with the pride issue, that's something that they have to take to the Lord to deliver them from. And you can pray and you can intercede, but if they're trying to utilize you as a punching bag rather than doing the work themselves, then feel free to steer clear until they come to their spiritual senses, okay? All right, that's all that I have for this video today, talking about essentially the spirit of Leviathan and pride, and how sometimes you can find yourself feeling confused as to how the more you show a particular person that you're there for them and that you want to show up for them and that you don't mean them any harm, how that person's heart can become more and more hardened. A lot of the time, that's a pride issue. Or you may be reaching out to someone and you may be trying to help them with something, but they're taking it as a personal offense. Then that is a pride issue. They're twisting your intentions because the spirit of Leviathan, the spirit of pride, is getting in the way. And that's the nature of the spirit, is to coil and to twist the truth into a lie. Okay, so that's all that I have for this word today. God bless you guys. Keep fighting the good fight.